Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Sirey from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content we'll be covering will be inside the sport of basketball, inside the NBA world. And today, I'll be coming with you guys with three segments, all in a total of one video. I'll be sharing my thoughts on the NBA draft. I'll be sharing my thoughts as does the G League prepare you more for the NBA more than college basketball, and who won the NBA draft. So let's go ahead and start with sharing my thoughts on the NBA draft. I thought this was a pretty good NBA draft overall. I thought the draft lacked drama after hearing all the rumors and speculation of the several trades. A lot of teams trading out of their top picks to get a superstar, or potentially several players that were rumored to be on the move during NBA draft night. Names like Brandon Ingram or Zion Williamson and several other players that were rumored to be traded before the NBA draft or during the NBA draft. So I thought the draft was overall good, but it lacked the drama, the high anticipation that was going to be anticipated come draft night. But I love the raw emotion that we saw out of several players during the NBA draft night. When their name was heard during NBA draft night, when players walked across that stage, got the hat, and shook at the commissioner's hand during the NBA draft. I thought they did a pretty good job displaying their raw emotions of being selected to the NBA draft. I haven't seen a group of talented men being so humble, being so happy to be part of the NBA family in quite some time. You could see the tears running through their eyes. You could see them celebrating with their families. I thought it was I thought it was great to see those young men being appreciated and humble and ready to experience their new journey in their lives being a part of the NBA family. Um, but something that I took uh, watching the NBA draft is the international flavor that is a part of the NBA is taking over the game of basketball. I love to see players around the world, overseas, players that are not or that come from different countries, different parts of the world, all come to our world in the NBA over here in the United States. Like we're seeing international players take over the league. Names are Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, Wembanyama now, a part of the NBA family. All international players coming from overseas, all across the world, to be part of the NBA family now. And it's cool to see players that come from different upbringings outside of the United States get a chance to shine in the NBA. So I think international flavor is important. This is something that we're going to see more often in the NBA as the league expands, as more players from overseas, from different leagues, come to the NBA world. And this is actually the second time in NBA history that we saw the number one overall pick, the MVP, and the Finals MVP all in the same season were born outside of the United States. The number one overall pick was Wembanyama. The MVP of this year was Joel Embiid, and the Finals MVP Nikola Jokic, all from different parts of the world. All three players outside were born outside of the United States, so that's a cool stat line when you think about it. International flavor is definitely taking over the NBA, and I'm all here for it. Which brings me to my next question: does the G League prepare you more for the NBA more than college basketball? So, in my opinion, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I think the G League does prepare you more for the league right now more than college basketball. You're saying players develop faster playing in the G League compared to college basketball. If a player's committed to a D1 university in college basketball, all likelihood they're only going to stay there for one season and play only one season in college basketball. Nowadays in the G League, you're eligible to be play in the G League if you're a junior in high school. You could skip your senior year of high school and you go straight into the G League. And then you could go into the NBA draft. I think that prepares you more than comparing to being in college basketball for just one season your freshman year. And then there's zero distractions in the G League. It gets you focused more for the NBA. You're playing against the G League is the minor leagues of the NBA right now, and you're playing against guys that were once a part of the NBA or trying to find their footing and take the next step in their respective careers and climb up the ranks to be a part of the NBA. That's what the G League prepares you for. College basketball, I really don't see that really. It prepares you. Don't get me wrong, but compared to the G League, there's only 40 regular season games in college basketball, and then March Madness is the real test, the real theory of how to prepare you for the NBA right now. In my opinion, compared to the G League. And I think that's why college basketball is starting to fall off just a little bit. The excitement for March Madness will always be there, but we're seeing more players take the opportunity of skipping going to school rather, I should say, not skipping school, but saying players getting an opportunity to go in a G League compared to going having to go back to school to play in college basketball, and they're getting paid, and they're actually getting paid in the G League, but college athletes are getting paid as well. But if you're being paid to basically play at the next big level outside of the pros in the G League, I'm taking the G League and taking my money and running with it, and then I'm getting my name inserted in the NBA draft. If that's what I would think if I'm a young kid thinking between G League and college basketball, and there's less distractions in the G League. Let's just tell the truth about it. College basketball, you could go out there, you have a big game in front of the whole country, yes, but then you turn around, the university throws a big party for you, there's chicks for you to click with. It's just less distractions than the G League compared to college basketball. And we're seeing the G League players being taken higher in the NBA draft than college basketball players at this particular moment. And the NBA draft Thursday night showed it. 4 out of 5 of the first picks of the NBA draft were G League selected players compared to college basketball players. So, in my opinion, I think the G League is preparing you more. I think the G League gives you more shine, more than anything at this particular moment. And I think it's a better strategy to get drafted higher than playing in college basketball at this moment. And then the final question: who won the NBA draft? Out of all 30 teams during the NBA draft, again, there's 2 rounds of the NBA draft. It's not like any other sport of football or baseball that has several more rounds. There's only 2 rounds in the NBA draft, so you got to get it right if you're on the clock during the NBA draft. So with that being said, I had the Houston Rockets winning the NBA draft. I thought they walked away with a lot of talent last Thursday night. Amen Thompson was a great pickup at their selection. He's a 6'7" point guard. He's a great ball handler, great playmaker, and a great overall player. I could see them having Amen Thompson at the start of the season play as point guard. Then you have Jalen Green at shooting guard. You have a good young front court duo of 2 talented guards for the sake of the future of the other Houston Rockets. Then at pick number 20, I thought they stole Cam Whitmore at pick number 20, and I think Cam Whitmore might have been the steal of the draft throughout the night. A good physical player, a wing player, power forward, could be switched over to small forward from the University of Villanova. Unfortunately, slipped. He was supposed to go way higher than pick number 20, but unfortunately slipped in the draft due to medical reasons. And a lot of teams were really scared to take him. But if I'm an NBA team, I would have took him, took the chance on him, see what you get. High risk, high reward. And that's what the Houston Rockets did. They got Cam Whitmore at pick number 20. So that sets them up pretty good for their future. The Rockets now have the young, talented core of players there in Houston. Their rebuild is going to look really nice when it's all said and done. They have Ime Udoka, former head coach of the Boston Celtics, that has some success under his belt. A former Eastern Conference champion, and was just 2 games away from winning the NBA championship during the 2022 NBA season. So he has a lot of experience at the high level inside the NBA. He's a great coach. I think he's one of the best coaches out there in the NBA right now. And they still have a lot of cap space to go ahead and sign a big free agent this summer. So the Houston Rockets are set up pretty nicely with a young, talented core. They got the head coach to get them to the promised land for the sake of the future, and they have cap space to go ahead and target a big name during free agency. Maybe a James Harden, maybe a Kyrie Irving. Who knows who they could target? Maybe set up a trade to get someone like a Zion Williamson or Brandon Ingram in town for Houston. So the future is bright for them. But those are my thoughts on the NBA draft. Those are my thoughts on which particular department prepares you more for the NBA, G League, or college basketball. And the Houston Rockets are my pick of which team won the NBA draft. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.